A few days ago, the executive director of a children's cancer charity in Texas sat down, turned on her camera, and said something that stopped BTS ARMY in their tracks. She said thank you, not to a sponsor, not to a corporation, but to an entire fandom. She said that in one unforgettable night, Jimin knelt down next to a little girl named Olivia who is fighting cancer, kissed her on the cheek, and handed her his own keychain. She said nobody could have predicted that moment. And she said that ever since, ARMY has become part of their community, donating, sharing, showing up for families across the entire state of Texas. That message is the reason we're making this video, because what started as one quiet, unscripted moment at a concert has turned into something much bigger, and it's still unfolding right now, in more ways than you might realize. Let's start where the world was actually watching. In 2026, Jimin performed at the FIFA World Cup final halftime show, one of the single biggest broadcast events on the planet. Billions of eyes, every major outlet covering it, and on his back, a custom BTS jersey created specifically for that performance by ACRO Studio. That jersey didn't just make headlines for how it looked. It later went up for charity auction to support education, and it sold for $110,000. Think about that for a second. A single jersey, worn for one performance, turned into six figures for a cause that had nothing to do with music at all. But that was only the beginning of what this jersey and this moment on the world stage would end up representing. Because just weeks later, a completely different story started quietly forming. One with no stage, no lights, no global broadcast. Just a little girl named Olivia. To understand why this story hit ARMY as hard as it did, you need to understand who's actually involved. Heroes for Children is a non-profit organization that provides practical and financial support to families of children undergoing cancer treatment. Not just medical support, things like transportation, housing help, and making moments of pure joy possible for kids whose lives have been taken over by hospitals and treatment schedules. One of the children this organization supports is Olivia, who has been battling cancer. Heroes for Children brought Olivia and 4 other children from families they support to a BTS concert in Arlington, Texas, so they could fulfill the dream of seeing the group live. For these kids, this wasn't just a concert. It was a night off from being sick. Nobody could have predicted what would happen next. In the middle of that concert, surrounded by thousands of screaming fans, Jimin came close to Olivia. He gave her a kiss on the cheek, and he took off his own keychain and gave it to her. This wasn't a scheduled meet and greet. This wasn't planned by a management team with cameras positioned for the perfect shot. This was Jimin, in the middle of a live event, choosing on his own to notice a child in the crowd and give her something real. According to the organization that made the night possible, that moment became one of the most unforgettable experiences of Olivia's life. Even though nobody planned this moment for cameras, it didn't stay quiet for long. Word started to spread. Fans who witnessed it shared what they'd seen. The story crossed language barriers, spread across fan pages, and within days it had reached ARMY communities all over the world. But this time, the reaction didn't stop at just sharing the story. Almost immediately, donations started pouring into Heroes for Children through the link the organization shared specifically because of this moment. That donation page alone has now generated roughly $80,000, climbing steadily toward a six-figure goal that had to be raised because the response came in faster than anyone expected. Fans from outside the US wanted to help too, so the organization made sure international donations were possible, with the currency automatically converted so ARMY anywhere in the world could take part. So let's add it up. A jersey from a single halftime performance, $110,000 for education. A single viral moment with one little girl, roughly $80,000 and counting for children battling cancer. 2 completely separate causes. 2 completely different reasons people donated. And one common thread connecting both of them, Jimin. Now, let's go back to that message we opened this video with, because the full context matters. Jenny Lawson, executive director and co-founder of Heroes for Children, recorded a video thanking BTS ARMY directly. She described the overwhelming love the organization had received over the past week in support of Olivia, and explained that they'd been able to bring 5 children total to that show, 5 kids who otherwise might never have had that experience. She talked about how nobody could have predicted that, in that specific moment, Jimin would come close to Olivia, kiss her cheek, and hand her his keychain. She explained that from the moment that story spread, ARMY didn't just watch, they shared it, they donated, and they started following the organization, becoming part of their community. She emphasized that this support is now helping families across the entire state of Texas who have children fighting cancer, not just Olivia. And she closed by telling ARMY in her own words that they had become heroes to the children the organization supports. A woman who runs an organization dedicated to helping kids survive cancer looked into a camera and called a K-pop fandom heroes. That's not a scripted marketing line. That's a direct, human reaction to what this community did. Here's where this story gets even more interesting, because this wasn't a random, isolated act of kindness from Jimin. This is part of a much longer pattern that most people online never noticed until now. Jimin has been recognized as part of Korea's Givers 50, a list highlighting 50 Korean donors known for consistently giving back, not just making one flashy donation. According to that recognition, Jimin became a member of the Green Noble Club, a group of high-value donors to Green Umbrella, back in 2021 after donating the equivalent of around 100 million Korean won toward projects supporting young people preparing for independence, children from at-risk families, and improving poor housing conditions. His father and younger brother eventually joined that same giving effort too, with his brother becoming part of it more recently, right after completing his military service. This has been a family commitment, continued over years, long before Olivia's story ever went viral. So, when you connect the dots, a documented history of consistent giving that started years ago, a jersey that raised 6 figures for education, and now this moment with Olivia sparking an entire fundraising wave, the picture becomes clear. This isn't a one-time PR moment. It's a long-running pattern that the internet just happened to catch this time, and it's not just fans who are noticing. This story reached people far outside the fandom too. A psychiatrist named Dr. Peter Jongo shared his own reflection on why this particular moment with Jimin and the children stayed with him for so long. He said he'd been thinking about why the video had such a lasting impact, and he believes it comes down to something bigger than one celebrity or one fandom. He described noticing both in the United States and in Korea a growing sense that basic human values like caring for vulnerable people, having empathy, and showing compassion are increasingly being dismissed, sometimes even treated as weakness, while rudeness gets mistaken for confidence. He said that even though it can feel like humanity is moving backward, he still believes that over time, people will take at least one small step forward, and that choosing to believe in kindness and compassion is something he won't regret, even if it turns out he's wrong. Think about that. A single, unscripted gesture from one idol toward one child became something a mental health professional publicly connected to the state of empathy in society as a whole. That's not something that happens with an average viral clip. That's the kind of reaction reserved for moments that actually mean something. So here's the full picture. One jersey from the world's biggest stage, auctioned for $110,000 toward education. One quiet, unfilmed second with a little girl named Olivia, now responsible for roughly $80,000 in donations and climbing. A family history of consistent giving going back years, recognized publicly as some of Korea's most dedicated donors. And now, commentary from outside the fandom entirely connecting all of it to something bigger than K-pop. Most viral celebrity kindness moments are exactly that, moments. They trend for a few days, people feel good, and then everyone moves on. This one didn't stop there. It turned into sustained, tangible support for real families going through one of the hardest experiences imaginable. And it started because of one unscripted second, a kiss on the cheek, a keychain handed over without a second thought. So next time someone tells you fandoms are just about hype or numbers, show them this. Show them a jersey that raised 6 figures for education and a keychain handed to a little girl in a crowd, and a fundraising page that had to raise its own goal because people showed up faster than anyone expected. If this story hit you the way it hit us putting this video together, let us know in comments. Was it the moment with Olivia, Jenny Lawson's message to ARMY, or Dr. Peter Jongo's reflection on what it all means? If you want to be part of what Heroes for Children is doing, the donation link is in the description below. Every contribution helps, no matter where in the world you're watching from. Make sure you're subscribed, because there's clearly more to this story than what's on the surface, and we'll be here the moment there's an update. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.